Hello guys. Hello. Just wait for some of you guys to join in. I'm just going to be doing my bobbin here whilst I do that. Seems to be a lot of space above my head, but not so much space down there. So I'm just going to, I'll adjust that in a second. I'll just finish my bobbin. And then I will tell you what happened the other day and why it got last minute changed and rearranged, but I'll wait till we're all online. Hi Helen, hi Fiona, nice to see you here. Oops, daisies. I am at the cottage. Right, let's see if I can, what was I trying to do? Let's see if I can bring it. I think maybe we just lower this a little bit. Is that a bit better? Little bit better frame, isn't it? So here I am at the cottage, guys, because I spend Thursdays and Fridays at the cottage usually. We are still preparing for our big launch with Lisa Comfort Home, getting things ready for the massive photo shoot that we're going to have here, prepping all the bits and bobs. But yes, so we're here to do the second part of the Peggy Trousers, and we were meant to do this the other day. The reason why we didn't do it the other day is because poor little Jasmine fell off the bottom of a slide when she was with her childminder and has broken her collarbone. So she's doing really well, but I spent most of Tuesday in hospital with her. There isn't really much you can do for a collarbone. You just have to strap in the arm. But obviously, yeah, I did not want to work. I wanted to be with Jazzy. So that's why we had to change it last minute. And I really do apologise to those of you that are on another continent and had to get up early and only to discover it wasn't live. But yeah, she's doing really well. She is being looked after by Matt today so that I could do some work. Yeah, so I'm very behind with everything because yeah, I spent yesterday looking after her as well. But we had quite a good little day yesterday. She sort of got used to kind of coping with a sling. And oh my goodness though, can you believe it? She broke her arm about a year ago and now she's done this. So yeah. She's a little trooper, but I think she just might be one of those children that breaks things easily. But yeah, I hope she's not going to be scared of slides forever. So that's why we're here doing it here today. So we've got Rosie online answering your questions as well. I'm going to try and focus as much as possible on talking about what I'm doing rather than other things so that I don't make a boo-boo. But Rosie's there to ask your questions. So I'm not actually wearing the Peggies because I've kind of come up to the cottage with my cottage attire, which is usually jumpers and jeans, which is what I'm wearing today. But these are the Peggy trousers. Let's just remind ourselves of them, okay? And we are going to be finishing off our fly today. So what I want to do today is finish off the fly. So we've just got to stitch the other side of the zip in. And then I want to do our top stitching along our fly. And then if we've got time, we'll start making the pleats that are in the front as well. So we'll just take our time though. I don't want to rush it because the fly is the trickiest part. So I want to make sure that we get that through that. I'm just going to trim off all of these. And in case you're watching this for the first time, there is already a pre-recorded part 1 on YouTube. If you've missed that one. We're making Peggy, which is our newest addition to our PDF patterns. Okie dokie doodly. So, I'm just going to have a sip of tea. Poppy is right there, sorry guys. But Molly is just coming in now to remove Poppy. It's going to be noisy otherwise, guys. Okay, so let's close the fly. So that's where we were up to. And if you remember at the end of the last session, we we pinned in the fly at the back there. Okay, so now we need to stitch that in. So that's pinned into the facing there, and we made sure that we pinned it just to the facing and we didn't catch any of the trouser in. So I'm now going to open my zip and I'm going to put a zip foot on. This is a different machine. This is a sheet machine from work that I have here at the cottage so that I can sew when I'm here. And I'm going to put that onto the left side, so that I can stitch down the zip tape. Now that looks a little bit of funny angle, so I'm just going to correct that. And my pins are all going downwards. Now what we're going to have to do is, upwards. The pin heads are pointing downwards. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to stitch halfway down, and then when we get halfway down, we're going to have to close the zip up, just like we did with the other side, so that we can get in and out. And be able to stitch both sides. So we're aiming to stitch in the middle of the zip tape. Okay. The middle of the zip tape. I'm just going to increase the stitch length because the stitch length on this machine is automatically quite short. So middle of the zip tape, you don't want to go too close to the teeth, and the reason for that is that if you're really close to the teeth, it's going to be very, it's going to be harder to pull it up and down, which we don't want. So I'm about in the middle there. So I'm going to put my needle in. I'm going to lift the presser foot up, and we're going to close that, so that we can then go past that. Okay, and then press the foot back down, and along we go. Okay, so I'm just stitching now. Sorry guys, it's even harder for you to see here. Just stitching down there. And then we're coming to the end, so just reverse. Make sure that's nice and secure. And there we have our zip stitched in. Getting close to the end now, guys. We have a functioning fly almost. So now, zippy coming up and down, very good. Now I'm not going to take these pins out here yet, because I want to, what we're going to do next is the top stitching that makes it look like a fly. So this stitching here. Okay, that bit there. Now in the instructions we talk about chalking this in, but what I'm going to do, which is what I prefer to do with a fly, and it's all so important that everything stays together and it's a really obvious line to follow, is I am going to hand tack in my stitch line. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that flat. But if you remember those pins, can you see them? Those pins are there to show us where this folded edge here comes to. So that folded edge has to come to there. Okay, so I'm just going to put, just for ease, I'm just going to put in a few pins, just holding that in place. So I'm just going through all the layers, not worrying about that at the moment. So that's all held together now. Again, can you see that? Can you see, guys? Can you see what I'm doing? I wonder if I could even bring it in, change the angle even more so you can see even more. Let's have a look. That's a bit better. It's a bit better, isn't it? So then I'm going to take the tape measure. 3 centimetres from this folded edge here is we have to mark our line, our top stitching line. So if you place the 3 centimetres of the tape measure on that folded edge there, and then the end of the tape measure is where you're going to pin. So that's 1, and then I'm going to move it down, and I'm going to do again. I'm just using the pins to mark this. So you could, if you wanted to, you could chalk that, but for you guys it's a bit easier to see the pins. And I also find that pins, in a way, for this initial marking are more accurate. So that there at the bottom is where the fly ends. So I don't want to go any further than that. I'm just going to create a kind of rectangle shape there. And I know we are going to do a nice curve, but that just shows me that's my space that I've got to work with. So that's sort of marked it out for me, so that when I come to do my my top stitch, hand stitching, hand tacking, so I can see it, which I'm going to do now, I've got a really obvious kind of area to work with. So what we need to make sure we're doing is not stitching through the zip placket. Now, I know I've confused you all with zip plackets and zip facings, but the zip placket is the wider bit, that's this piece here. So we're not going through that, we're only going to be top stitching through the zip facing and this right hand side of the trousers, so from there. Okay, so let's go up and along. So I'm going to do a nice running stitch, and I'm not going to make my stitches too, actually that one, just check where I'm starting to make sure I'm really starting at 3 centimeters as well. That's fine. So I'm just going to do relatively small stitches, so then it's easier to follow. It's like a solid line then. I'm not going to back stitch it, I don't need to be that thorough, but I want to do relatively small stitches so that I can really easily follow this line when I'm sewing with the machine, doing my top stitching. So I'm going to do a bit of chatting whilst I'm doing this, guys. I think it's safe to chat whilst I hand stitch. It's been a very busy day today. Obviously, like I said, I'm a bit behind because I've been looking after Jazzy. But yeah, this morning I've already had a nice breakfast meeting with Rosie by the shop, and we've also had a final kind of run through all the changes to the physical shop, and it is looking lovely. It's going to be a gorgeous Lisa Comfort Home shop soon, and so it's got a swanky new little office space. I say swanky new, it's kind of new, isn't it, Rosie, because it's the same space, but we've like put we've changed it, we've repainted it, moved the door so it's in a different position, and created another little area for processing orders as well. So it's still housing both companies, but definitely Lisa Comfort Home has taken over most of the space. But yeah, so then I drove up from that meeting with Rosie straight here. It's a full-on day, and then after I finish this, I'll have a catch-up with Molly and then getting on with my coursework. So I don't want to be a bad student. I've not done all my homework. Obviously, it's not quite like that with mature students that are entrepreneurs running their own companies. It's not quite like, excuse me, but you haven't handed that in properly on time. And they obviously know what was happening over the past few days. In fact, I had to do a seminar call, which is like a little group call that we have every week with Jasmine. She was like there, obviously getting upset. I was like having to completely mute it and put it on Zoom, and it made me realise poor people who had to work through lockdown without any childcare. I mean, I had mum and dad, which was amazing, but gosh, it must have been so hard to do all those Zoom calls and try and act professional when you're feeling anything but professional. Right, I'm coming up to the point now, guys, so I've done that bit, if you can see. So now I've stopped about 2 centimetres, so just under an inch from the bottom. Actually, no, I've stopped a bit higher than that. Let's take that. I think I maybe stopped a bit too. I'll take that one stitch. Maybe now it's about 2 centimetres, because I now need to create that nice curved shape. Now, you could use a pattern master to create that curve if you wanted to, or you could cut out a little curve on a template, a piece of paper, and use that. I'm going to freehand it, freestyle it, but I'm now going to, essentially with my needle, draw a nice curve so that I can follow that to finish off the bottom of the fly, making sure that I end at that fold, at that seam where the pin is. Okay, ow, ouch, oopsie. Okay. just going to do a couple little stitches on the spot there so that I know when I come to it on the machine that's exactly where I'm stopping. It's a big obvious place, because what you don't want to do is be stitching over that. Okay, I can now take out these other pins. I can also take out the pins that were marking the centre front. Don't need those anymore. And take those ones out. Okay, that's like that. And where is my regular zip, my regular foot? Here it is. There we go. I'm going to have a sip of tea. Or about 5. Okay, so we're now going to, with top stitching, you want to think about the thread that you're using. So I'm making these, I don't want these to look like jeans, so I'm not using a contrasting thread, but of course you could if you wanted to. Just be aware that contrasting threads contrast. So we always say to people, if you're a bit nervous about your top stitching, don't use a contrasting thread. You want it to blend. And also the style of these trousers, the thread really is meant to blend. So we're going to whizzy down there, not whizzy down there, go nice and slowly. And I'm going to do it with a stitch length of 3, which is generally what we recommend at Sew Over It for top stitching. It looks better if it's a slightly longer stitch length. You don't need to, again, because these aren't jeans, you don't need to be thinking about using a top stitching thread that's thicker either. I've just pinned the placket back so that I know it's not going to get in the way and be naughty. And then I'm using the middle of the presser foot to follow that line that I've just hand tacked in as my stitch line, my top stitching line. I should also say, we obviously say 3 centimetres, and that covers you. Oh. Wait a second. I haven't done anything wrong, but I have missed the top of this section here. What I've done is correct. We need that in there, but we do need to finish this top edge. I suddenly just thought, hang on a second, that top edge is not finished. We need to do that. We need to go back and do that, guys. I think I'm flawed with these trousers, aren't I? So, wait a second. Let me just cut that little bit there. So what we've got to do is when we stitch the top here, if we leave that as raw, as not finished, it's not going to get, the facing basically doesn't come all the way up. I'm going to show you in context here. Don't worry, if you followed this exactly, it's absolutely fine what we've done, the markings will stay there. But if you can see here, the facing comes up to there, it doesn't finish along there, so we've got to finish that edge. Hopelessly so hopeless. So I'm just going to bend that back. If we just open the zip out and we just turn that back on itself, like that, we are going to then just pop a little pin in there, and we're just going to finish that edge. That does need to be finished before we top stitch. So if you see it there, and if you see it there, okay, that's just on the folded edge there. So we said about 3 centimetres, that's what you want to be doing. So if you want to give yourself a little marker, we're going from that folded edge there, 3 centimetres. Yes, so I'm just going to pop a little pin in to 3 centimetres. Okay, and it's a centimetre seam allowance of 3/8 of an inch. Just that tiny little bit, just to finish that edge, like that. Okay, then we'll just do a little snip up to the stitching, but not beyond it, which just goes up to the end there, and that will allow us to turn that back through, so that that bit is now finished, and then keep that bit sticking up so that we can attach the facing. I'm just going to cut that corner off because it is a bit bulky, and we've also got zips and things in there. So just cut that off at an angle, obviously being careful not to cut through your stitching. And then we can go back to our top stitching. So, do you need to do that stage ideally before? Right. So, back to top stitching, using that chalk line or hand stitching line, whichever you've done, keeping it in the middle of the presser foot, stitch length 3, and then away we go. So I've got it open here, but it's gonna get a little bit more awkward as we get further down. So I'll probably close the zip up a little bit more as we get to that point. I am really stitching right on top of my chalk line here, or rather my hands tack line. So I'm about here. I'm about that much far from the bottom. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to put the needle in. I'm just going to close the zip just to allow this part to be a bit flatter, so that when I come to finish this, it's as flat as it can be. I've also pulled the zip placket right out the way. So I've just gone under there and just made sure it's right out the way. And if you want, you could put a second pin just to keep that placket out the way. Because we don't want to be catching the placket. Okay, so now we're navigating around the curve. The best thing to do if you go around a curve is just to go nice and slowly to allow yourself enough time to pivot the fabric to follow the curve. Okay, so I'm coming up to the end, and we want to be super precise at this point, really, really precise. And I think, yeah, that's about right. Right on the edge there. Now I'm not going to reverse. What I'm going to do is pull that out, and I want it to be super, super neat. So it's hard for you to see the stitch line, but the stitch line is there, following the line of the hand stitching, and from the back it looks like this. Okay, so that's definitely out the way, even though when it's properly working the fly, that will come over it like that. But for this purpose, we want it out the way. So now I'm going to pull my threads through. So the reason why is because I want to make sure that this is really neat. So if you pull the back thread from where you've just finished, and then if you take a pin, it's quite hard to see in this light, but if you pull that, you should basically pull out the stitch a bit, and then you should be able to see a little loop, and that little loop is your top thread. And if you pull on that, it then pulls both threads through to the back. So if I show you from this side now, there are no, I know there's a white thread there, but there's no black threads there. So then you can take those threads and tie them together in a knot. And then we're going to push that knot down. I'm going to do my little snazzy technique where I tighten the knot around the pin and then tighten it and push the pin down to the fabric so that the knot sits flush against the fabric. Okay, getting there, getting there. Now I do need to take out all of the this stitching, but I'm not going to do that now because that's boring for you to watch. But you'll need to obviously unpick your tacking thread. And then the last thing we need to do before we finish our fly is we need to attach, just need to stitch the facing to the placket, just so it anchors them, so it secures it a bit. So I'm just going to trim off the bottom of the zip tape like that, and it's these two pieces here, so we're going to join those together. So if you just make sure that you're not getting any of the trouser in, but you're just getting the facing and the placket together, and pop a pin in. And all we're going to do is, following the curve of the facing, we're just going to stitch a little bit, just a tiny amount there, just to anchor those and keep those together. I think you should be able to do it with a regular foot rather than a zip foot, but you might want to put a zip foot on if you're finding it awkward just to get in and follow the beginning with it. It's a bit of there's a lot going on there, so just remove that, take that back down. Just that little bit. And what that does is it will just help the placket sit and stay in position, and the facing as well. Just helps the whole fly sort of sit better. Just make it, if you have a look in jeans and things that you have, they will have that. They will be anchored there at that point. And that's it. That's the fly done. Okay, I need to tease that out, that's going to bug me. Just get that nice corner out there. We got there, guys. Just about. Fine. Just about crawled my way to the end of that fly. Crawled my way the whole way there, really, didn't I? But yeah, there we go. We've done a fly, guys. That's definitely the hardest part of the Peggy trousers. So we have got some time. So let's stitch our front pleats and then we'll probably leave it there for today. Because that's kind of a natural point to stop. So pleats. We have got pleats in the front of the trousers. I really wanted to do something different with these. I didn't want to do a sort of the usual sort of type of pleat. So we've done an inverted box pleat, like that. So that's what we're going to stitch in. So it's not just a question of folding the pleat in and stitching across the top. We are going to have to actually stitch that top section. So the pleats have got circles, and I've gone ahead and I marked my circles already through the fabric, through the pattern, sorry, but with everything travelling, oh no, he's just fallen out, with everything travelling here and being folded up, they had come off a little bit, the marking, so I remarked them just before I started filming, and I've put pins in them so that makes them much easier. Okay, so we are going to, we've got the 3 notches there, 1, 2, 3, and then you've also got, you have actually got 3 circles, 1, 2, 3. There is one in the middle. It's not as important, but it's still important because that needs to be kept on the edge. And so what we're going to do is place it right sides together. So right sides together, making sure that that 3rd notch sits in the middle. And then our pins or our other circles need to line up. So the best way to do it is if you get, definitely you've got that as a clear point now. If you get one of your pins and you put it through, it should meet the other marking. Okay? And if it doesn't, you can just pull out and put it and adjust until you get it lined up. And then as a kind of checkpoint, you should make sure that your chalk circle in the middle is sitting on that folded edge as well. That's fine. If you want to, you could do a chalk line to follow as you're doing this, or you can just make sure your pins are dead straight and you're happy with that, and you can use your pins as a line to follow. It's up to you. Okay, like that. So that's back on 2.6, which is fine for stitch length. So we're going to start at the top. Reverse, and then whizzy down we go. I'm just going to take that pin out but keep it in so I know exactly where I'm stopping on that circle, so it's even more obvious for me to stop. I'm going to do a nice little reverse, and that's one done. So if we open that out, you can see that once that's pressed, that will create lovely, very pretty pleat detail. Okay, so let's cut those threads off and we'll do the other side. Okay, notches together. Right sides together, the middle knot should be sitting on the fold there, and then take your pins and make sure that they're aligning. That's fine. I'm going to put 3 pins in this time because there was a bit of a gap that I had to try and use my eye to stay straight because the pin wasn't quite there. And put that there. That bottom. Okay. So lining the middle of the foot up with the pin line. Nice little reverse. go. Pull him out, trim him off. And now we've done 2. So they will get pressed flat like that, and that will turn them into the inverted box pleats. I'll just pin that like that, you can kind of see it better, and I can hold it up. So unfortunately, we've not got that far that I can actually try them on, but you can see at least, guys. I'll hold them up maybe. Move, mister. Move, move, move. Ta-da. So really, oh look, from afar, maybe it looks like I'm wearing trousers. I think they're gonna look fab in this fabric, and yeah, really excited about the fact that they'll be long, wide-legged as well. So I am gonna stop there, guys, because time is a bit tight for me at the moment, and also I kind of wanted to make sure I got to the fly stage and just did a little bit of the front, but that's where I wanted to get to. Also, then we can have a bit of a chat now, which I never get a chance to do. So let's have a chat. So, what are you saying? Love inverted box pleats. I do as well. Really love those. Oh, look, and there's people talking about the Soraya jacket. What are people sewing, guys? Was anyone sewing during that? Let me know. Because I know right at the back at the beginning, people were actually sewing along. Other times people were just sewing something else and just listening along. Or it was genuinely people's lunch break, or they were working from home and just had something on in the background. But guys, what are you doing? Let me know. Let's have a chat. Got to wait for you to write something and put it up. Have a sip of my tea. It's got a bit cold now. Oh, Tina, oh, that's nice you always sew with me. Oh, good. Lovely. Oh, someone's on a bilberry. Oh, Kim's having lunch. Kim, what are you having for lunch? Give me some inspiration. I need to have lunch afterwards. Oh, massive mask order. Oh, Tina, you sell masks. That's great. Yep, Sal's getting ready for bed. Fair do, Sal. It's 10 o'clock. I don't think we expect you to sew at that time. Jackie's on a lunch break. Oh, you're welcome, Siobhan. Gracing me with... that makes me sound like I'm the queen or something. No, sorry. I wish I could be here more. I'm very happy in this place with you guys. Cheese crackers. Not boring. I like a cheese cracker. Lorianne's getting dressed. Fair dues. It's very early for Lorianne. Working from home and getting stuff ready for an audit. Oh, wow. Gosh. Oh, somebody finally made a Betty dress. Oh, that's wonderful. Or I hope you've got something lovely to wear it to. Oh, and there's somebody from India following as well, joining in. Well, that's lovely, guys. So we are going to be... Oh, Hebden this morning from Stitch School. Fiona's been making. Very good. I don't know why Rosie will laugh at this, but I have such a blockage with our Stitch School names. For whatever reason, yeah, I've just like... Oh, we've still got... What people are saying? Zoom meeting, Minnesota, someone's from. Oh, you are the sewing queen. No. Yeah, for whatever reason, I can never remember the name. So I'm like, the Hebden? What's that one? Is that like the Bilberry, or is that like the Haxby? I mean, I don't know why, but I have a blockage with them. I obviously, the women's names, we obviously decided to change it to, these are villages. The Stitch School names are villages in the UK, or towns, but generally villages. Yeah, the women's names I remember a lot better. Ooh, cigarette pants. I forgot about them. They're a great, yeah. I think the way that we do it's the same. 2 Lizzies. Jane's made 2 Lizzies and 2 Lucy's. Sorry, I was just saying the way we do the fly on the cigarette pants. I think it's similar. But yeah. Oh, Ta. I washed it this morning at 6 this morning. It's not been styled, but thank you. I'll take that. What inspires you to name the patterns? Well, what we do is we have a list of names of women's, well, for the kind of classic ones that we, our normal PDF patterns that we bring out. We basically, thanks Siobhan, the raglan sleeve t-shirt, that's the Hebden, thank you. We basically circulate that round on email, and so we'll have a new pattern, and we've been talking about it. For example, we called these trousers the peg leg trousers. So then someone suggested Peggy, and I was like, perfect. But we have, yeah, a list of names, and we circulate them around, and then we kind of, somebody goes, I really like this one. And then sometimes people say, oh no, I don't like that one. I had somebody at school that wasn't very nice called that name, so that gets vetoed. So I'm just seeing, Lorianne, are you where there's fires at the moment? Sorry, sort of catching on too late to that. I hope you're okay. Yeah, Elisa comfort pattern, absolutely not. What would that be? I feel like the most iconic pattern that we have that represents my style in its kind of fab going out is, oh my gosh, you've been evacuated, Lorianne. Are you back now? Oh dear, that must be so scary. I'm sorry. Is the Betty dress. Betty's like my ultimate, but I haven't worn one of those for ages. Oh, I'm glad you're back now, and so, oh, that's good. All these awful fires all over the world. It's just, yeah, it's horrid, isn't it? Let's keep things positive though. This is a positive space. So yes, I mean, I love hearing about what everyone's doing, what everyone's sewing. Oh, just finished the Sorrento jacket. Oh, amazing. That's all about the top stitching, isn't it? Got to have your old edge stitch foot for that. Rosie, what are you sewing at the moment? It doesn't have to be a sew over it pattern. Let's see what Rosie's sewing, guys. She probably isn't sewing a sew over it pattern. It's not that she's a traitor, she's not at all. But Rosie rocks the dungaree jumpsuit vibes, and we don't have enough of them to appeal to her thirst for play suits. She's just finished some Carolyn the Carolyn PJs, yes. They are so on my list. I've been saying I want to make them for about 3 years, haven't I, Rosie? You've already got one, but how many pairs do you have, Rosie? I know you've got that lovely pair with it's navy with the birds or something on it. I know that from when we were at the Harrogate show and you were staying at Mum and Dad's and you had them there. And you had silver piping, I think, on them, which looked very snazwaz. But yeah, I've heard great things about them. I think they are quite complicated, but yeah, you can, Lorianne, go and buy the piping, can't you? Second pair, one blue, and this is leopard print. Oh, Rosie. And Rosie has a leopard print skirt on today, guys. She's rocking the leopard print. Are you using that lovely cotton that I made the sienna dress out of? Is that what you're using? Great memory there, Lisa, I know. I struggle to remember quite important things, but I remember people's clothes and what they're wearing. Never forget an outfit. Yeah, the same one. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. So guys, the sienna dress that I made with you guys in the Sewalong, it was a leopard print cotton. Rosie is, oh my gosh, going to be rocking it out in some pajamas. Very fab. Fab, fab, fab. We're actually working on some pajamas. Shh, don't tell anyone. For some like classic little pajamas for Poppy and Jazz that we want to release soon. Very, very super cuteness. So yeah, then there'll be massive matchiness. So I'll have to make matching ones with Jazzy. I would love it if we had matching leopard print. Ooh, grey stress, yes. Forgot about that. This is what happens when we've got so many patterns. I feel bad that I've neglected some patterns and not made them for ages. Anyway, we are, so you'll know that I've done my pre-recorded Sewalong for the Whitley, and I'll be photographing that next week. I did photograph loads of the makes on Monday from the Sewalongs that I hadn't done. And I'm now, so I'm going to do a makes roundup. So remember I used to do my fabric haul and then my roundup of my makes. I'm not going to do the fabric haul anymore because that kind of just gets mentioned as we're doing the Sewalongs for fabrics that are there. Rosie, are there actually fabrics left for the Peggy's? Maybe we can link to the fabrics that we've got left to those and pop it in the description box for anyone watching this afterwards. But yes, there are, so I'm going to do a makes video. I'm going to do a makes video so you can see them in properly, and I thought I might try to do that every month so you can see all the makes and I've got time to talk you through them, because obviously we only do a snippet of them in the Sewalong, so you don't really get to ever see them in the flesh. You just get to see a photo or something. So yeah, I'm going to start doing that. So I'll try and do that next week. I can't remember. Rosie, do I have to have that up by next week? Rosie's got the schedule. Oh, look. The black wool blend. I know, it's so soft. I haven't finished mine. These are still where they've got to. I haven't even done my top stitching, but I've marked it. But yeah, guys, you're going to be jealous of these when they're finished. Not that you'll be able to feel them through the screen, but they, I'm very excited about them. And I've got these new boots that I'm loving. I'm all embracing all the cozy vibes now and excited about getting my boots out and all that vibe. But yeah, Rosie, tell me, when will we be having the makes video out? Because my diary's no longer in my head. It used to be. Roundup for new makes are going up next week. Right. Be filming that next week then, guys. Watch out for that. And then the live sew along is at the end of October, I do believe, the last week of October. I'll be doing the next live sew along, and that will be the most recent PDF pattern. So those of you who are in the PDF club will know about that before anyone. But that's what I'll be making on the sew along. So basically I'm going to make on the sew alongs our newest patterns. We are also thinking about, so then we'll also be doing a second pattern, and ideally a hackable pattern. So in my pre-recorded sew alongs, I want to try and do something that is to give you inspiration about a hack that you could do with one of our patterns. So we've got some fun ideas for those. So yeah, we've already scheduled out what we're doing for the rest of the year, which is great. So there's lots of fun stuff coming your way so you can be inspired. I've also started doing more on Instagram, so keep your eyes on Instagram. We're trying to kind of do a video of me talking through something. Hi Teresa, nice to see you here. So trying to do something on Instagram every week with me. So I've done a how to style a Peggy's. We've done what am I wearing this week, although I'm not wearing what I was meant to be wearing today. It's all gone topsy-turvy this week based on Jazzy, so fair dues, but yeah. And then, yeah, we're also doing Reels. We're discovering Reels, which is basically like the TikTok. Anyone who knows about TikTok, it's a bit like the TikTok of Instagram. They've now added that. So we put one up the other day on the grid of me in like an outfit in every colour. So some fun bits and bobs like that will be coming your way as well. Plus, oh Sal, yeah, you missed. Jazzy's broken her collarbone. She fell off a slide. Yeah, she's fine, but obviously she's broken her collarbone. So, but she's doing really well, and my gosh, that girl is the bravest little girl I've ever met. She's just amazing. So she's got a little sling on so she doesn't move it, and that you have to just kind of like, it's hard. What's hard is kind of putting her into bed and stuff. She's not getting in the car at the moment because I can't bear the thought of putting her into a car seat. So, but she's with Matt today. It's a Matt day, so she's having chilling out with Matt. And I had a little chat with Matt before, and he was like, "Oh, she's doing painting whilst I'm pairs and games." So yeah, thank you guys for all your well wishes for Jazzy. It's really lovely of you, and yeah, fingers crossed that it heals properly and quickly, and yeah, my poor little darling is not in pain too much longer. Right, I've waffled, haven't I? I've waffled a lot. Oh yeah, what I was trying to say is we're going to do some live Q&As, but I can't remember where. I don't think we've said when we're going to do it, and it's not just going to be me, guys. You're going to start to see more of the wonderful Sew Over It team because I've only got a certain amount of time. Thanks, Kim. And also they are far better at sewing than me. So they can bring a wealth of knowledge to the table. But yes, watch this space for that. We will be putting that out in a newsletter or on our Instagram. But yeah, we thought we'd do a nice live Q&A because they've gone down very well on the Lisa Comfort Home Instagram account. So we want to do it for Sew Over as well. Right, guys, I'm in desperate need of some crackers. I think, Kim, I'm going to take your inspiration. Thanks for all your, thanks guys for all those lovely comments about Jazzy. Thanks for Rosie for answering your questions and for sharing her PJs makes. And yep, I am wearing a Suzanne jumper, of course, Eileen. What else would it be? You should just send me free jumpers now. I absolutely love them. No, I love buying them, and I love them. They last so long, and I love all the colours and the styles. So yeah, it's Suzanne, not me made. Right, guys, I'll see you all soon on some platform. Thank you for being with me today. Sorry it was a short one in terms of sewing, but it was really, Really nice. Oh, Lorianne, you're coming over this way. Yay, fingers crossed. It was really nice just to have a chat with you. You haven't done that in a long time. Bye.